5 minutes.
You are a professional sommelier asked by the Georgian Wine Association to promote Kvevri wines to the Belgian market. Which points will you consider noted to make your action plan and successfully promote Kvevri wines to this country?
Yes.
You are a professional sommelier asked by the Georgian Wine Association to promote Kvevri wines to the Belgian market. Which points will you consider noted to make your action plan and successfully promote Kvevri wines to this country? Thanks, Dad.
Great. So, you would like to introduce the Kvevri wines to the local Belgian market. Kvevri, first of all, just to let you know, this is clay amphora buried under the ground, so the wine can age nice for a longer period of time. Kvevri is also used in other countries, so they kind of copy that from Georgia. This is very traditional winemaking tool. Usually the varieties used are Caticelli and Saperavi, two native varieties. You can find them in the region of Kakheti, Imereti, Rakale-Kumi. So all these regions are very vital to introduce. What's a good point? That Georgia is one of the oldest winemaking countries in history. So this is a good point to mention that in our marketing strategy. On the top of that, we also mentioned think about the indigenous native varieties. So I mentioned Caticelli, Saperavi. So these are two varieties which are worth mentioning. Kvevri, also, as I mentioned, is native to the nation of Georgia. So it's good to mention that too. Now, Kvevri is not only used for red or white, it's also used for the other styles of wine. So there's a lot of diversity and complexity regarding that. Style itself is very different when we think about Georgian wines. They are more tannic, they're great for the meat. So we can, for example, introduce it for Carbonate Flamand, which is a local dish from the market. So we can kind of think about Saperavi, which was aged on the skins, macerated on the skin for a long time. So you have a point to work it with the Belgian cuisine. Carbonate Flamand is one of them. You can also have some beautiful Caticelli that was aged on its skins as well in Kvevri. So this is important point. Next point, orange wine category. It's so popular around the world. Orange wines also they have their kind of origin in the market of Georgia, in the country of Georgia. So this is like a longer maceration on the skins. We can introduce it to a lot of wine bars in Belgium, in Brussels, in Antwerp. So this is very great tool by the glass because this younger generation is asking for orange wines, not only from Friuli or from Greece, but also for the wines from Georgia. So let's think about orange wine, how to make it cool in Belgium. Skin maceration is important thing to mention. Now, we will also invite a couple of local sommeliers from Georgian Association to help us. They have, for sure, more knowledge than us. So we're going to invite them. They're going to do the tour with us. And we're going to visit local fine dining restaurants. I'm nicely connected to a couple of sommeliers. I may introduce you, gentlemen, to them. So I think it will be a good strategy. And also, I think that would be it for the time being. Let me run through a couple of thoughts, what could be useful to think about. Yeah, we also need to kind of create a special map with identification of the wine regions, because there's a lot of great regions like Buria, Samegrelo, Abkhazia, on the western part of the country, which also deserve attention. It's a very unique country, the oldest one. So we not only remember about Kakheti, Imereti, and Rakale-Kumi. Yeah, it would be very, very useful. And the style of wines of the Kvevri doesn't add the flavors to the wine. We need to mention to people because people think when we age something in the winemaking tool, it adds the aromas. No, we can express the purity of the land, purity of the grape variety. It is the pure grape. Very naturally made wines are very often found in Georgia with also low sulfur added. So when now people think about organic wines, biodynamic wines, This is also a good thing to have these natural wines from Georgia. So aside the orange wine movement that can be beneficial for you, gentlemen, as a strategy, also low intervention wines, as we call them, can be an interesting addition to that. Do you have any